Peter Obi, former governor of Anambra State, has decried the get-rich-quick syndrome among youth and called for an urgent value reorientation among the nation's youth. He made the call on Friday in Agulu and Nocha local government area of Anambra State during the maiden Amatutu Community Entrepreneurship and Empowerment Summit. Mr. Obi, who was the 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, says that the get-rich-quick syndrome was counterproductive in society. He urged youths to key into skill acquisition, trading, and entrepreneurship to enhance their productivity rather than indulge in unlawful acts just to acquire wealth. According to him, in 1957, his father owned 3 Mercedes-Benz cars, among other properties, but today the properties are no more. He encouraged youths to channel their energy into entrepreneurial ventures, trade, and productive skills, noting that these are more enduring and meaningful roads to personal and national development. Let's get your thoughts on this call from former governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi, urging youths. I think you've made the statements concerning this still during our conversation.
Yes, actually, the get-rich-quick syndrome is a sickness that's affecting many young people. And they just think that money... When I was growing up as a little boy, that was a story that I read. The title of the story is Money Does Not Grow on Trees. You don't have a tree somewhere, and then the money starts just growing on the trees. You have to work to get it. You have to earn your page, your meal ticket. It doesn't fall from the sky. There is a serious problem in our society with young people, teenagers. This get-rich-quick syndrome, I think it has been amplified with the kind of role models that most of our young people are looking up to, like fraudsters and people that they put their hands into all kind of criminal activities and they spray the money. They have these flashy cars and all those things. And they don't ask themselves, how did this person get this money? What work is it? What is the source of income? What's the source of livelihood? And it's not something you just pray about. You don't just wake up one morning and pray and say, I want to be rich. I want to be a millionaire. And tomorrow you become a millionaire. God is not a magician. He said, what you sow is what you reap. So it means you have to plant to reap. You can't reap from what you don't sow. It means you don't have a seed and you're expecting a harvest. So it has eaten very deep into the fabric of our nation, to the point that in secondary school, you see secondary school students who are doing fraud today. Recently, I saw a video. Secondary school students who just finished writing WAEC. WAEC. I'm not undermining it. I once wrote the WAEC close to 20 years ago when I finished my secondary school. I wrote my WAEC examination. They even did sign out on their shirts. I asked myself, where are they signing out to? Like, you've just started life. And you're doing sign out on your shirt. You've just finished writing WAEC. You're writing sign out. You don't even know the course you study in the university. You don't even know if they ask you what you want to study in the university. You don't even know. You don't have good career choice. And you're signing out in your shirt. I saw secondary school students spraying money on their fellow students. And these are students between the ages of 17, 16, 14. Okay, I'm looking at the junior ones now. But secondary school student spraying money. The boy does not have a good skill, doesn't have a good job, doesn't have a good source of income. The question is, where is he getting the money that he's spraying? Because anytime he sees on social media, he sees people spraying money. So he feels that if you spray money, it gives you some kind of prestige in class. It makes you look like you have arrived. It creates a kind of a picture of someone who have now arrived. You're going to show them poverty. You're going to show them that you too, you can spray money. But the question is, what the money you are spraying, where is it coming from? And those people picking the money, both the sprayer of the money and the pickers of the money, they don't ask themselves, what next? So the get-rich-quick syndrome is a problem because a lot of our young people have been mentally abused. Poverty starts from the mind. Mental poverty is is the worst form of poverty. Is a variant of poverty. The worst form of poverty is mental poverty. And a lot of our young people today, they don't want to go through the process. They want the products. They want iPhones. They want, like for the guys, they want to dress on, you know, these special baggy jeans, you know, very expensive. If you go and price it, very expensive. They want those flashy clothes. But if you ask the young guy, what skill do you have? What good skill do you have? Nothing. Intellectual economy, very poor. They cannot sit down with a book and read the book from the first chapter to the last chapter. That's waste of time for them. But they can sit with their phone and on social media and do all kind of rubbish there.
I want to ask quickly, when you keep referring to that skill aspect, it just made me have a flashback to in the eastern, the southeast part of the country. There's something they call Nwaboy. I don't know if you've heard something like that,
yes,
where a particular influential businessman has a property, probably an electronic business, gets boys that comes to serve him for a period of time, depending on the agreement notice. And after then, he settles them, you know, open the same line of business for them. And this skill improves, increases. The skill, the circle increases where this set of boys will do the same thing. You know, so at that time, I think this was years past, that there was this high rate on it. At that time, I think there was so much of how do we say it? Legit wealth.
Yeah.
There was dignity in labor. There was this thing of individuals wanting to, especially the men, wanting to do work, improve themselves skillfully, you know, engage in activities to earn money. No matter how little the output was, they just wanted to engage in things like that. But we're now seeing a different scenario now. It's more like, just like you stated, most of them want to own certain kind of phones, dress in a kind of way, drive the flashy cars. There's a particular state I will not want to mention where I went to, and I saw this underage boy, less than, let's say he should be 14 to 15 years, driving a Benz. And then you ask the question, how did he have access to the, okay, how did he get the money first off? That's the question. Who sold this car to him? I thought there's supposed to be a particular age range for things like that. You know, so what I wanted to get, what really changed? What is that thing that really changed all of this skillful thoughts from the youth of today?
It's leadership. The problem is leadership. When you have a materialistic society, it's leadership the problem. Because like you talk about the underage boy that's driving a Benz. It's the same thing you see with many young guys, teenagers. Like you see a guy that's into fraud, a 17, 18-year-old boy in fraud, and you ask him, he said, I want to make this money. That's, you know, that's called poverty conditioning. That's what they call poverty conditioning. People are being conditioned into poverty without realizing it because...
So which of the leadership is affecting it? Is it parental leadership, societal leadership?
Societal
or
leadership,
kind of leadership?
Parental leadership, political leadership, leadership across board. Because when you look at these young people, the role models, who do they see as their role models? Is it the politicians that come to spray money in the midst of poverty?
Is it that this last set of people, like I made mention of, did not have role models at that time?
Their role models are the wrong ones because they're looking at people that are just spraying money, partying, and they want the easy life. When I was growing up in my house, we were taught that life is not fair. Life is not easy, so you have to grow a spine. You have to go through the process. They want the products, they don't want the process. That's why the family as an institution is failing. It's failing. Many of these young people came up. Even some parents encourage their young boys to go and do the fraud. Look at your friends. They're driving cars. And you are here disturbing me. I can't pay your rent. You no go fit go do within the other people they do. Make yourself you get money. You know, what is that parent teaching the child? She is conditioning the child to poverty. And that young boy who does not have any financial knowledge, is a financial illiterate, doesn't understand investment, doesn't know budgeting, doesn't know savings, doesn't know cash flow analysis, doesn't know how short-term and long-term investment plans, doesn't have any good knowledge of it. He's a young boy that he has not even discovered his identity, his self, his purpose, his goals, his dreams, his visions. All he's thinking about is he sees this musician, he sees this politician, he sees this societal figure. The person might be a kidnapper or a ritualist or a fraudster. He thinks that life is easy. No, life is not. It's a tough place. That's why a writer once said, tough times don't last, but tough people do. Now, you have to carve a path for yourself. So the home, the family, many parents are failing their parental responsibility in teaching their children that you must go through a process. Who does not want to be rich? Who wants to suffer? Who wants to live in poverty? Who wants to live in lack? Who wants to live in want? Who wants to live in a very poor building or a dilapidated structure? But we believe that hard work, diligence, I always tell you, no, it's not hard work, it's smart work. Even in smart work, you need hard work because you must put in the work. Even the Bible says, seest a man diligent in his work, he will stand not just before mere men, but before kings. So the problem of these young people is because many families are failing. I grew up in a home where my parents will tell you, I grew up in a tough situation. I go to school, I trek miles. I sometimes sit down through the night and I read. You know what? One of the things I learned is that perseverance. If you can sit down and read a book, 600 pages, 300 pages, 400 pages, it shows you that you can persevere, you can push forward. And diligence pays. Diligence. I won't be sitting here today if I'm not diligent. What am I going to offer the society? I won't be, will I come and offer stories of just stories? No, I'm here sitting down because I went through the process. I sat down, I burned the midnight candle, I walked the talk, I put in diligence, excellence, I did the study, I put in the research. So I might not have billions today, but I have built a capacity. I've built a system. Wealth creation is a system, is a capacity. That's why many people, they jump into money and they crash. I always tell people, if you grow up, you will stay up. But if you jump up, you will crash. Because growth is a process. Wealth is a process. If you want to grow in wealth, you must go through the process of growth. If you just jump into getting a Benz, like a 17-year-old boy who is into fraud, what do they do with it? Some of them sell it because they want to feed their addictions and because they didn't really work hard for it. So they misuse it, they abuse it. Dr. Miles Morris said, when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable.
Well, in this aspect that Peter B has come to make decry this state of this get-rich-quick syndrome that's been, growing really fast amongst youths. Do you think there will be a reduction in it? Do you think there will be a decrease in one way or the other? Because it's more like it's going on a really fast lane. Aside the fraud situation, there are other things that the most of the youths engage in, because there are still diligent youths. Let's not get that twisted. There's still diligent youths that want to, work to earn their money, that want to engage in skillful activities and all that. But it's just that I think the majority now covers most of this fraudulent activities and all of that. What do you think can be done to work on that, please?
That would be perspective adjustments, like
a personal perspective.
It starts from the person. Like, let's start from the individual. What's your when I meet a person and then the person tells me, I want to become a rich person, I say, yes, that's beautiful. And I ask, the next question I ask is, how do you want to do it? What process do you want to put in to become rich? Right? And the person will tell you, I will make it anyhow. Then that's already painting a picture that the person's perspective about wealth is flawed, is faulty. Now, your perspective influences your actions, and your perspective positions your decision making. Your perspective is the inner structure of your decision making. If your perspective is wrong, your decision making will be wrong. Even your communication will be wrong, because your communication is drawn out of your perspective. So in wealth creation, or with this get rich quick syndrome problem, if we want to make a difference in a society, we must change our perspective. And you said something beautiful. It's not all there. I am not into fraud. I'm a diligent person. I'm working out. There are millions of youths like me. It doesn't mean that I don't like money or I don't want to be wealthy. But my perspective is, you put in the process to get the product. You don't get the product. You don't jump to the product without the process.
I just learned something new. You put in the process.
You put in the process to get the products. You don't jump to the products.